Hey drummers, welcome to this free video song lesson where today I'm going to show you how to play the song I Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me by Nik Kershaw, drummed by Charlie Morgan. Coming up next. So the first thing I've written at the top of the chart is the hi-hat was overdubbed in parts, and so this is my interpretation of how to perform the piece. So you'll see what I mean if you listen closely to the recording, when during the choruses especially, when Charlie plays around the kit to play some of the drum fills, you can still hear that hi-hat pattern being played over the top. And of course we know that's impossible to play both parts together. And so either the hi-hat part was recorded separately or it's electronic, I'm not quite sure. It does sound very, very precise with the open hi-hat parts as we'll see. But the point is that there's certain things that you hear on the recording that you couldn't play as one drummer. So when it comes to the drum fills, you'll see me sort of cut away from the hi-hat part and just focus on the drum fill. That's the easiest way to get through it. Saying that, most of the song is what you hear on the recording, or what I'm going to show you today. So we've got a double-handed hi-hat pattern to start off with, and we're playing 4 on the floor with the bass drum on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4, snare drum backbeat on beats 2 and 4, and we're coming off the hi-hat playing 16th notes to play that backbeat. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a right, left, right, left, right, left. That sort of tempo, 180 BPM I've written. By the way, you can download the free PDF chart from my website. You'll find all 3 pages linked beneath this video. So have these 3 pages printed out in front of you as we go through this together. Hopefully it'll make things a little bit easier for you to understand. Again, that's for free. So on top of that bass drum pattern, that drum beat, the final sort of icing on the cake, if you like, is the accent patterns on the ands of each beat. So we've got this upbeat hi-hat accents. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and which does push the song to the more advanced level. If you really find those accent hi-hats parts too difficult, then you can leave them out or just throw them in when you can or where you can. They're not essential, but it's certainly going to make it sound just like the recording. So we get this. See, my left hand is just staying on the hi-hat, nice and low, just playing normal volume hi-hat notes, and the right hand is doing all the work. So in the second bar, that drum beat continues, but we get this double-handed hi-hat accent on the and the of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. So left hand gets involved there, and accenting both the and the of beat 4. Next bar, very basic compared to what we've done previously. It's basically the first drum beat bar without the crash cymbal. And then the fourth bar, we get our first drum fill. So leading up to it, we're basically playing, or we are playing that hi-hat pattern with the bass drum. The bass drum doesn't stop, by the way, underneath the drum fills. And we come down to play the snare drum on beat 4 normally, but we're then going to break off from the hi-hat pattern. 4 comes down on the bass drum, 4, and then I've chosen to play the floor tom and the snare drum because it sounds like quite a low tom note. We get 4 and a 1. Right, left. You could play, because you'll be playing on a normal setup, I'm sure, where your high tom is higher to your, closer to your hi-hat. So if you feel more comfortable using the high tom, absolutely fine. But I think it's a floor tom, and also that's kind of more comfortable for me as well. So that fourth bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, 4 and a 1 and 2 and after the crash cymbal, 1 and 2. I come back to the accent hi-hat on the end of beat 1. If you accidentally forget that hi-hat accent, don't worry, don't beat yourself up too much. Your right hand's having to do a lot of movement here. And also don't feel the need to play the hi-hat on the E of beat 1 after that crash cymbal. You could play... I'm pretty sure a few times in this lesson I'm going to miss out some of those hi-hat notes in between moving my right hand. I don't feel the need to rush back to play the left hand in between the crash cymbals or anything like that. The crash is ringing out, and so we'll fill in that gap. So the next line is identical, crash cymbal starting it. We get the double hand accent on the and the 4 in bar 2. And then bar 4 is the same rhythm drum fill, except it's all played on the snare drum. So before we had 4 and a 1, now we got 4 and a 1. All on the snare drum, 4 and a 1. Excuse me. Then we go into a chord change. So the drum beats, we're playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. We're going to an 8th note feel now. The tricky bit is to play the hi-hat on the ands only now. So where we're accenting with the double-handed pattern, that's now where we're going to be playing the hi-hat on its own. So we're playing basically 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. The key there is the hi-hat being played on the ands. And so coming from that double-handed 16th pattern might be a little bit weird for you to then slow down, or it feels like you're slowing down, and then play offbeat hi-hats. So we get 1 and 2, and then the bass drum is going to be playing and 3. It comes down with just one of those hi-hats. And 3 and 4 and. A little bit weird. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And at the end of that line, just 2 bars, we get the open hi-hat on the and of beat 4 going into verse 1 where that 2-bar drum beat just continues. So slowly, I'll play up speed for the moment, in a moment, bar 4 of the second line, I played one bass drum too many there. Let's do that again for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now let me play for you the first 3 lines up to speed without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So for verse 1, we've already covered it in the previous 2 bars. We're playing this drum beat, and the open hi-hat occurs every 4 bars. At the end of the first line, for example, we're playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the 4th bar has the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, the open hi-hat. Notice when I close it, it closes on its own with the bass drum. I'm not striking the hi-hat on beat 1, although if you do accidentally, that's absolutely fine. That next line is 6 bars long. Basically, it's the 4 bars from above, but then with 2 other bars added to the end. And the 6th bar has a little drum fill in it. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So opening on the and of 3 this time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And I play that floor tom with my right hand. Makes sense. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Up to a crash cymbal, because then we're going to change into potentially the trickiest drum beat of the song. Maybe you find the double-handed hi-hat bit trickier, but this is kind of cool. We've got offbeat hi-hats, we've got offbeat snare drums on the ers of 1, we've got open hi-hats. You'll see what I mean. So the drum beat at the beginning, with the crash cymbal, let's say, we get 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3. Already quite weird. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If we just loop the second bar, which is the same as the first one without the crash cymbal, we get this 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Lovely. It's a lot of fun to play. Notice the bass drum is just playing all the quarter notes. So in a way, it's kind of like autopilot for the bass drum. You're just focusing on what the hands are doing. High tom if you wanted to. So that drum beat gets played 4 4 times, but the 4th bar we got our next drum fill. 1, 2, and 3, and then and 4, E, and. I use the high tom, and 4, E as written because I think it's a high tom. Notice there's no bass drum on beat 4, but if you accidentally did play the bass drum there, fine, doesn't matter. And 4, E, and. That's the drum fill. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, E, and 1. We're then going to go into our next chorus, which is the drum beat from the intro. So now that we play for you, say the second line of verse 1, all 6 bars, and then pre-chorus 1 into a little bit of chorus 1, so you can hear how you change from each of those 3 drum beats in context. Here we go. So apart from a little breakdown later in the song, we've got all the main drum parts down. There's just variations with the drum fills that occur, and also with the choruses from now on, with the double-handed accents in bar 2 and now there's a very subtle little open hi-hat on the So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Ooh, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So I'm playing same accent pattern, but I'm opening it with the left hand. So a little short bark 16th note opening on the of beat 4. That's with falling down with your left hand. If you accidentally play both the accents is open, that's absolutely fine. It'll sound like this. But that's not on a recording, it's this. Ooh. It's quite hard to get that bark in the right place, falling with your left hand. So that's what's going on there in the choruses. We then, at the end of that line, we get the 4 and the drum fill again. We've done that one. Second line, we get this in bar 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Open hi-hat on the and of 3, snare, floor tom, crash. Up there all with my right hands. We're then going into that offbeat hi-hat pattern next. So, a little change there. Bar 2, at the bottom of the page, we get a little push of the bass drum on the of beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4. And it goes into floor tom and snare drum. It's an effect being added. It could almost be snare and crash if you wanted to instead, but I think you get this really bassy note occurring with the snare drum backbeat, so I thought the floor tom was more important, or more like the recording. So 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and open hi-hat at the end. The key bit there is and a 4. But that bass drum falling in between those 2 hi-hats on the and a 3 and beat 4, floor tom and snare drum. So that line, that last line, we then continue with that drum beat as we go into what we're going into. Verse 2. So exactly the same structure as verse 1. Second line has 6 bars in it. Oh, also notice there's a little sly opening hi-hat at the end of bar 2. So as well as bar 4 in that second line, we've got an open hi-hat in bar 2. And then the drum fill at the end is slightly different. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now I've written it as 2 flams. On the recording, you hear the 2 tom notes and 4, but you also hear the snare drum there as well. So I thought best to replicate the recording is to play the second note as the high tom and the snare drum as a flam. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it opens into a crash. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and going into that cool pre-chorus drum beat again. So pre-chorus 2, can I say it? I can say it. It's exactly the same as pre-chorus 1. It's a drum fill at the end of the line. We then go into chorus 2, same as our previous chorus 1, with the open hi-hat on the 4. The drum fill at the end is that one. Line 2, however, the drum fill at the end of that line we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and a 1. Right, left, all 4 16th notes of beat 4. So we just come off the hi-hat to play. Then we go into the break, where we're playing the bass drum on all 4 quarter notes for the first 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, easy. Second bar, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and a 1 and 4 and a crash. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and a 1, goes up the toms. Then bar 3, easy. Bar 4 though, a little bit tricky. We get, because of the counting, 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 a 1. This group of 3 16th notes going across the beats in a weird way, coming in on the E of beat 3, 3 E, 4 a 1. If you're playing it correctly, those 3 notes will be evenly spaced, and it resolves on beat 4 with the floor tom. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4 a 1, and that's where it stops for a second. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 E. On the and of beat 3, it doesn't sound like it's the bass drum. It could be, but it's not. It sounds like a tom he's playing. So right snare into beat 4 and a 4 E, and a surprise offbeat crash on the E of beat 4, and that goes with the rest of the band. So that last bar, 1, 2, 3 and a 4 E, 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 E. So starting from bar 2, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 E, 4 a 1, 2, 3 and a 4 E, 1. And that beat 1 there is going into our next chorus. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'll play the second line of chorus 2 and the break up to speed. Here we go. So finally we've got chorus 3, which is really our last chorus of the song. So I'm just going to go over the end of each line because that's where it differs. So we've got another drum fill that's slightly different. Line 1, we get 3E and 4. 3E and 4. So coming down to the floor tom, you could use your high tom, I'm going to use the floor tom, and 4, all 3 limbs together. So we get and 4 and a 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. We get this. But the snare drum falls with beat 4, giving that beat a bit more power. Next line, we get this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and highest tom you like, and then your next lowest tom afterwards, and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and. Notice how I come off the hi-hat from after beat 3. I don't play the E of 3, giving my right hand time and space to come to the next tom. 1 and 2 and 3. Ooh. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I believe it goes into a crash. I might be wrong. No, it doesn't go into a crash because now the last page, there's only one crash at the beginning of the line. That's line 3. If you want to do a crash at the beginning of each line, absolutely fine. But Charlie doesn't on the recording. So the end of the first line out on page 3, we get all 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 3 and 4. And I come off the hi-hat and a 3, giving my hands time to come to the snare and crash for beat 4. We get 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we come back into the hi-hat on beat 1, but without a crash. Might feel a little bit weird. Line 4 of that second line, 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and a 1. I came off the hi-hat, 3 E and. It's like I'm playing 3 E and, continuing with the hi-hat part, but 3 E and 4 and a 1. That favourite little drum fill we like to do at the end. So 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and a 1. Then the end of third line is simply 4 and a, but it doesn't go into a crash, so we get. Then I've written fade out, so this is where the song starts to fade out, and the very last drum fill I could hear clearly was bar 4, which is the longest drum fill. We get 1 and there's a little push on the of beat 1. I'm pretty sure I'm hearing it with the bass drum. So the first time really we get this push on the bass drum during the choruses. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and 40, and a 1. And I think the bass drum's continuing on beat 3 and 4 after that point. But the drum fill itself is 1, 2, and 3, and 40, and a 1. So before we finish, let me play for you the last 4 lines of the song, because we got some weird drum fills going on there. Here we go. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. Don't forget, you can download the free PDF from our website, all 3 pages of the song. You'll find the link beneath this video. And if you do me the favour of liking or commenting on this video if you found it useful, then that would be greatly appreciated. But until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. And you can watch my other free drum lessons by clicking the links on the screen now. Alternatively, if you want to learn how to play literally hundreds of famous and popular songs in full, from start to finish, and including the fully transcribed sheet music, then check out my website drumstheword.com for further details. Thanks for watching.